a little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like June.
Okay, Marilyn, keep going. Okay, welcome back to Liquid Lunch. We're here. Marilyn Garshowitz is here. Marilyn, let's talk about the brutal truth.
Well,
I know it's a serious topic. I know
Yes.
that
It's
you.
very serious.
We know each other a little bit. I keep
Yes.
running into you everywhere, and we have fun when we get
Yes,
together. But
I
we're
love
talking
it.
about a very serious topic, right?
Yes.
Today we are talking about the roots of bullying, which is a big part of your book and your message. And it's also very apropos because every time I turn on the news lately, there's another story about a child being bullied or somebody in university being bullied to the point where they take their own lives. This is a serious problem. We need to talk about it and we need to address it. And so tell us where it all starts. What's the roots of bullying, Marilyn?
Well, I think before I talk about the roots, I think I need to make it clear about bullying, because it's much larger than bullying in the schoolyard or on the websites with the kids. They talk about cyberbullying now. But the issue that it's with young kids, so very young now, killing themselves, that's a lot of the media of late. It's people are concerned, but if you really want to address that issue, you're going to have to understand bullying is much more than with the children. It's in the workplace. It's with the judges and lawyers and otherwise. And I do mean the misuse of power of anyone to another. And you need to understand. So we're going to have domestic violence. And if everyone can understand bullying and misuse of power collectively, that is the issue we're talking about, then you can understand the seriousness of the nature and bring all that energy, all that synergy, so we can take the identification of the problem and go towards a solution. And I really want it just to be more than just talking about the problem, although it does start with that. It's very important to start with talking about it and identifying it correctly. So the roots, so now that we understand that, whether we're talking about bullying in the schoolyard, workplace harassment, misuse of power from the judges or lawyers or otherwise, now we can lead into where it's all coming from, and that is the government and its legal system through social norms and faulty laws. It's a systemic problem. Systemic, by its word, means there's a number of levels to it. Roots, you have to look at a whole bunch of things. You can't just say one thing. You have to look at all the elements. It's systemic. So you have to go deep and look at it. So you have a government and a system in place that allows this and perpetuates it for their reason, to maintain the status quo. They are in positions of power. So then you have to look at certain things that the social norms and the faulty laws that allow this behavior to continue. So our society will re-victimize the victim. It's a victim-blaming mentality. And when you have that ideology, that is going to create the problem, because you're not dealing with the problem properly. You're dealing with the victim. You're not addressing the bully. And it's going to have the ramifications of such. It's going to get worse, not better, because you're not dealing with the problem correctly. So it's very, very serious. And of course, we've been taught not to question authority. And there comes the problem again, another social norm.
Didn't Abby Hoffman try to change that?
There's a lot of people trying to change it, but it's going to take more than one person. This is how you get solutions. A lot of people are addressing the issues, but it's going to take a lot of people. And a lot of people are doing it. That's what's happening with the shift right now.
What shift?
There's a shift occurring,
Where?
in the entire world. This is a global issue. You know that. You're being funny with me again, you.
Yeah, I don't know if I am, because, I mean, people talk about a shift, right?
Yes.
People talk about, well, I don't know what you call a shift, but that people's...
The collective consciousness, the change.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
So
Different names
on
for
the
it.
one hand, people are talking about that. On the other hand, we've got, it seems to me, hey, we just got a new war in Libya, just started a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the federal government bringing in all kinds of new draconian laws and G20 police
Scary.
state activity going on. Like, is it getting better or is it getting worse?
Well, we're actually saying, no, we will not let this happen, and that means it's getting better. What happened in Egypt, I go into all these aspects around the world, because you have to bring the micro and the macro and then go back and forth again when you're dealing with a systemic problem. So it's being addressed. People are saying in Egypt, they actually had their president run away, and he misused his power, no question. In fact, if you look where that started from, that one situation that led to that, a young man, I don't know his specific age, but he was, I forget, being entrapped by a police officer, a female police officer, and if he wanted to have his booth there, and he was supporting a family of 8.
This is in Tunisia, right?
I
think it was in Tunisia, and then
Egypt.
it spread to
Yes.
Egypt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so on the internet, they managed to have pull their energy together to say, we're going to stop that, because he ended up dying out of the situation. Because he said, it's enough. You can't be doing this behavior. It's wrong. And people aren't addressing it sufficiently so. But that's happening here in Canada, and people boast how great Canada is. But we have all these problems at home.
I know, but fortunately, we've also got fluoride in the water, so we don't do anything about it.
Yeah, but we have to address the fluoride too. There's all these issues that we have to address, and I know you do tongue-in-cheek comments.
Mwah.
Yes.
Yes.
You're so cute. But it's hard to make a conversation like this be taken seriously, and yet to have an audience here, because it's so harsh. Because the concepts, the issues that I bring up, well, we're talking about questioning authority. Well, one of the things that is very difficult, we're talking about when a parent, sexually abuses a daughter, or a priest. We're taught, we don't even want to talk about these things.
But we do talk about it because it's on TV more and more every day. And the victims are coming forward and they're sharing their stories and they're going public. And we know that there's a lot of abuse done in high positions, whether it's a priest and I guess a choir boy, or if it's in a corporate environment, or if it's in a government environment. Seems to be a lot more systems of checks and measures and a lot more eyes watching than there used to be.
The eyes are actually pretending they're watching and being vocal about it, but a lot are not. A lot are having a false pretense with what they're doing. And that's what I'm finding. I'm actually having people, I went past my book and founded an organization of the same name, The Brutal Truth, to continue this work, because you don't do it all in one book. You have to keep, it's bringing the synergy, being loud, and keep this work going. And I find that it's the same problem. You go to the authority that's supposed to help you, or the department that's supposed to help you, and they end up helping the other department that's actually abusing you, and they stick together. It's like they're sleeping together. So then you've heard about lawyers and judges, they're one big family, and they're just maintaining their own power and that whole system. And if you break it down, but there are solutions. I don't want to be all negative. You're right. Things are changing. They are getting better. And that's why I say to you, Hugh, there is a shift happening. Things are occurring. There are people who, prepaid legal, for example, are doing things. They created their business to help give an opportunity for people who wouldn't have the money necessarily to get the proper representation, because there really is not fair and integrity in our legal system. And so people are trying to address the faulty situation.
What about police? Are they doing more? What about youth workers? What about communities that we turn to for protection of women, of children? What about teachers?
Yeah, when you're talking about groups, you have people who do well in the group, who have that position and have tried to. So some are just evil. Some are misusing their power, and they go into that position to misuse their power. Some get caught in the makeup design of that organization, and to maintain having an income, they get stuck doing that. Some fight it, some leave. There's all sorts of variations of the same thing, but I mean, I was a correctional officer with young offenders. I was also a financial advisor. I left home young, so I had the experience of seeing how it is in group homes. I have friends in all sorts of different levels and positions, and some do, and they can tell me stories of who's doing and who's not doing, who's abusing their power. People who are making a difference and who are trying to, and others who are saying, it's not my jurisdiction and I'll not do anything. There are police officers, in fact, there's a lot of police chiefs who are trying to organize and take a stand that what's going on in the legal system is just disgusting and it has to change. They're making a very strong stand saying we can't let it continue like this. There's all sorts, but we have to bring all the groups together, from teachers to all of this. There's so much change that has to happen, and you've got to look at, so why isn't it changing faster? Because it is. Why is it not going
And maybe
faster?
the real